Dior Sauvage Parfum. Stay tuned and cue the music! Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Andrea, also known as Curly Sense, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. So Dior Sauvage has been a household name in the fragrance world for many years now, and the verdict on it is quite clear. For the most part, those who love it really love it, and those who hate it really hate it. Today I'll be reviewing Dior's latest release, which is the parfum concentration of the highly successful Sauvage Eau de Toilette. Also, be sure to watch until the end of this video for a chance to win this cute little 10 ml bottle.
Oh, you're so cute.
On to the review. So I actually purchased this bottle directly from the Dior boutique, and if you're somebody who buys retail, I highly suggest doing the same instead of buying from somewhere like Macy's or Sephora. The packaging is very well done, and they give you a bunch of mini bottles and samples as well, which really makes the buying experience more pleasurable. The bottle itself is almost identical to the EDT and the EDP bottle, with the exception of it being much darker and having silver writing instead of white. Overall, I really love the design of the Sauvage line, and the sprayers are one of the best I've ever experienced. In my opinion, the opening of Sauvage Parfum really takes a different turn when comparing it to the previous versions. While the EDT and the EDP do have their differences, you can tell that they're very similar in their structure and that they come from the same family. The Parfum, on the other hand, surprised me a bit, and I don't get a whole lot of the original DNA in here. There's the new addition of Mandarin Orange, which I do get, and when mixed with the bergamot, it gives off more of a bitter orange rather than a sweet, juicier citrus. Unfortunately, this fades away within the first 10 minutes, and I'm left with a more dense and dark and bluish DNA that almost reminds me of a cross between YSL-Y EDP and Bleu de Chanel EDP. There is also quite an obvious powdery accord from the very start that plays a much bigger role in the later stages of the scent. Ambroxan is a note that isn't listed in this new version, but I definitely pick up on it, even though it's much less in your face. Soon after, I start to pick up on a prominent sourness, which is likely to be coming from the sandalwood, and the elemi in here is giving off a bit of a green and piney accord to me as well. Unfortunately, the sandalwood doesn't seem to be giving off much of a sweetness or creaminess to my nose, and I'm not getting any vanilla either, which I think could have made the parfum a little bit more interesting. Tonka bean is another note listed, but again, I'm not getting any of that tonka bean sweetness, and I think all of these notes are contributing more to the powderiness of the scent. In addition, there's also an ambery accord that's definitely heavier on the incense rather than a thick and sweet amber. Sadly, around an hour and a half after the initial spray of Dior Sauvage Parfum, all this really becomes is a powder bomb. I don't get much other than a ton of powder with the dry, dusty bitterness and a slight bit of Ambroxan. At this point, I find a minimal resemblance to the original Sauvage DNA, which might be a good thing for some people, and the fragrance falls completely flat for me. Performance on Sauvage Parfum, I'm getting 9 to 10 hours of longevity, but only around 45 minutes of low to moderate projection. Now, this kind of projection is to be expected from some pure perfumes, which tend to sit closer to the skin because of the higher oil concentration and lower alcohol content. The alcohol in perfume actually helps the scent jump off the skin more, which is why some eau de toilette concentrations will actually project more when comparing to EDP or parfum concentrations. With that being said, I was still disappointed with the performance, especially for a Sauvage fragrance. In terms of seasons, I think this would work best in fall and early spring as well. While it is much darker than the EDT and the EDP, it still retains a freshness that is perfect for the transitional seasons. Contrary to Sauvage EDT, which has enough power to fill an entire nightclub, I think the parfum would actually do best for something like an evening date because of the scent character and the soft performance. I can also see this being suitable for dressier occasions and even for the office as well. If you're somebody who enjoys getting compliments from others, I would not even consider having this in your collection. Because of the very weak projection, nobody will even be able to smell you in the first place. And secondly, if you haven't checked out my Sauvage Street Reactions video yet, the results were pretty clear. Only 1 out of 16 women said they preferred this over the EDT and EDP. I will say though that this might work a little bit better for a more mature age group of around 30 and up, because it does try to give off a more mysterious and sophisticated feel. Pricing is a huge downfall for Sauvage Parfum in my opinion. It currently retails at $120 for the 60 ml and $150 for the 100 ml. For a scent that gets extremely boring after a couple of hours, doesn't perform well, and won't get much attention from others, is definitely overpriced. Overall, I think this was definitely an unnecessary release from Dior. I believe they were trying to follow the success of the Bleu de Chanel line, but I actually think that Chanel did a much better job. The Chanel line seems to have a much more harmonious transition from the EDT to Parfum, whereas Sauvage EDT and EDP were quite similar, and then the Parfum took a strange direction. I feel like Sauvage Parfum attempted to be a more serious and sophisticated flanker, but to me, Sauvage is not that kind of fragrance. Even though I'm not really a fan of the line in general, I actually like that the EDT is an unapologetic, mass-appealing, Ambroxan bomb with great performance. And it wasn't trying to be anything else. For those who want a bit of a unique twist and a less harsh opening, the EDP is a great option, but personally I would go for the EDT for the performance and price. Also, in terms of a rating, I give Sauvage Parfum a 4 out of 10, and I highly recommend going for Bleu de Chanel Parfum instead. Giveaway time! If you'd like to win this 10 ml bottle of Sauvage Parfum to try out, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, leave one comment down below, and give this video a big thumbs up. I will announce the winner in 1 week's time, so good luck to you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.